Alright, hello everybody. Today I'm going to talk about something less serious. First off, peep the fit, we're doing butt stuff. Goated shirt. Now, I'm gonna rapid fire like 3 videos because I'm gonna go see my girlfriend for Valentine's, so I won't be around these parts anymore. But I do want to get content because I got those things in my brain that I gotta get out. First off, is I don't think Brawl and Dive are dead. Like, I see a lot of people saying, oh, if you dive doesn't also poke, you might as well not play them because they like Dive is dead or Brawl is dead. And okay, I'll stop the accent. My bad. As far as tanks go, at least I don't think that's the case. A lot of times I'll run into like 2 tanks, either Pain Brothers, Thor, Angela. The light is so... I hate this overhead light, but when it's dark outside, it's what I gotta use. Like, look at my blankets look like I am the Holy Ghost right now. Sorry. The Pain Brothers, Thor, Angela, combinations of them. I'll see Rogue, and a lot of times my thought is I'll go Emma, or I will go Emma, or I will play Thing, because I can shut down their movement. I can grab them with Emma. I can CC them with Emma. I can hit them with vulnerability, do percentage damage, make them more susceptible to dying. It doesn't really work when they're playing poke DPS though. When they're playing poke DPS characters, you just kind of have to lay down and take it like a good boy. And that's not fun. Because if I'm playing Strange, right, there's a little bit I can do to stop like a Thor and an Angela. But Thor and Angela are still going to CC me, still going to push me all over the place. They're still going to get out my supports. Same thing with Hulk and Thing is a little more tolerable as Strange. Both are kind of intolerable as Mag just because of the cooldowns. You can't have your bubble cooldown so far, but he needs to be balanced by something. The only problem is if I play Thing or Emma and they're running Hawkeye or Hela or Punisher and Moon Knight is the big one. Punisher and or Moon Knight. Now, Punisher and or Moon Knight will see Emma and just shoot Emma until Emma's dead. So you kind of have to have a shield tank to absorb some of that damage for you and your team. Because there was one time I tried to play... I tried to play Thing against Thor and Angela, so that way I wasn't getting CC'd all the time. Doesn't work as well against Thing and Thor, but like Thor and Angela, it like really helps with the CC. It kind of prevents parts of their kit from working. And I was doing fine against them, but anytime the Punisher or the Moon Knight got a sight on me, they just shoot me and I die. They shoot me dead. I can't generate enough health to deal with it. And so I don't think Dive's necessarily dead, because if you play 2 poke characters on your team for sustained damage, you force at least one of their tanks to stay, one or both of their tanks, and especially if they're solo tanking, to stay on a shield or some sort of poke, so that way they can poke back at you or have a shield to protect themselves and their team while they're getting dove by a dive tank or a dive DPS. Like, you have to really hit them with that front pressure in order to do it. But I think it's not entirely dead in that case. I think people who are saying that dive is dead and that poke has killed dive because it's so strong, they're only correct in the DPS department, because like a lot of the divers on DPS end aren't very good. They're not super good anymore, but it is what it is. You know, it's always going to be like that. But I think for tanks, it's really not that big of a deal, because I see a lot of times where it happens, but because they're playing poke, the poke enables it to work, because your tanks can't go Thing or Emma, because they'll get shot dead. Because, yes, I know Emma has a shield, but Emma's shield has 400 health, and you know how fast a Moon Knight, specifically the Moon Knight Punisher combo that I'm talking about? But just, you know how fast people take out that shield? The poke characters will take out that shield if they're really gunning it down, or they can just move 5 feet to the left and shoot around it, right? So I think like it really prevents them from playing it, and then the counters have to be entirely on your supports and your DPS, which means you might have less front DPS, which means you have to less frontline pressure from DPS, which means you have to back off more often, and then less healing because they went on more offensive supports. Is what I would say if Sue, Gambit, and Loki weren't in the game, but they are, so who knows. But like Adam is what comes to mind. People will go to Adam so they can kill the diver faster, but then you lose some healing from it, so it kind of, I don't know if it really balances out or what, but I don't think it's entirely dead. I think there's more nuance to poke kills dive, and so dive is dead because poke shuts down everything in the game right now, which I'm not going to fight anyone that poke's overpowered. A lot of the poke characters are the ones that are just power crept out the wazoo for like no reason. Like one of them will get nerfed and it's like a slap on the wrist, and they'll buff like 8 other characters to try and compensate for it, and it's not working. You just gotta nerf every character, all the healing and all the damage, so that way I can go back, because the game should not be run on ultimates, dude. Wolverine's gonna have his ultimate so fast when the update comes out. This is recorded pre-update, so that way I can have these while I'm gone over the weekend. But like, he's gonna get his ultimate so fast. He's gonna get his ultimate like every 12 seconds. It's going to be insufferable to play tank. He's going to kidnap you, slash you, have his ult. He only has to do 2,400 damage, which means he only has to kill, like Doctor Strange. He only has to kill Doctor Strange 4 times, which is a lot. But he's getting more damage than just one Doctor Strange health bar, especially since it's being filled up with the amount of healing that you have to be pumped filled with when you're being dove by Wolf, and Wolf attacks other people than just the tanks, if you want to play him well, especially right now. So, I don't think Brawl, I don't think Dive is necessarily dead, though I think it could be real soon, with all the ult changes. Because Moon Knight gets his ult so fast. I feel like, and here's a different conversation, just a little nugget I'm going to throw out your way, let me know what you think about it. I don't think the devs want there to be neutral play. Hear me out. Most of the buffs and nerfs, I'd say at least 50% of them, have to deal with ultimates. Like, avoiding ultimates, either if it's avoiding or countering ultimates with normal abilities, like being unable to be CC'd, or being able to escape from CC and stuff like that, or just nerfing ult charge or making the ultimate better. Like this last patch, their 3 characters got their ult charge nerfed. Venom got his ult buffed. Like, I think they want the game to be focused on these big power moves with the ults to really fulfill your power fantasy. But if all the characters just become an ult farm, where all they are is about getting your ult as fast as possible, and then using the ult to get as many kills as possible, and then supports use their ults, and everybody's ulting all the time, it does not fulfill that power fantasy, because your ult just becomes a regular ability on like a 40-second cooldown. And we've seen that with Daredevil. We've seen that with Deadpool, where people say it's not fun. Well, I say it, and I've heard people say when they play against him that Tank Pool is like the most broken character in the game. Heal Pool, I would still consider S tier. Well, I don't think he's broken out of his mind like Gambit or like Gambit. The other ones are still the best, but they're not broken out of their mind. I forgot what I was saying. Becomes another ability. Tank. Oh, Deadpool. I don't think Support Pool is goated out of his mind, but having ult like twice a fight, like if the fight goes on long enough, longer than normal, so if support ults get used, which is very often, then he gets his ultimate like twice a fight. He opens with his ult and he pretty much closes with his ult very consistently. It's very annoying. They need to rework that style meter, and maybe I'll make a video on it. Maybe next week I'll find time and I'll make like a bulleted list of what I want from his style meter, from his level ups and stuff, because I think the way he works right now is just, it punishes you for starting to play Deadpool, because if you swap to Deadpool at any point in the game, you're going to get steamrolled for the first like 3 fights until you can get some of your level ups. And even if it's not SteamWorld, you're going to struggle to get as much value as some of the other people on your team. You don't get value just for playing Deadpool or for being good at Deadpool. You need to play Deadpool, then you can upgrade, then you can get a lot of value out of it. At least that's how it felt to me when I played it, and I went, that's not fun. And it's not something I ever want to swap to mid-game. I'm being punished for swapping to a mid-game. So maybe I'll make a video on like exactly what I want from him in terms of changes, because he needs changed in some way. But yeah, moral of the story is, I don't think dive is eradicated or that it's gone or destroyed. I think poke enables it. And that's bad, because while poke enables it on your team, it is hard to counter that. So like if one team runs Punisher, Moon Knight, Gambit, Loki, Punisher, Moon Knight, Gambit, Loki, right? And then Thor, Hela. No, sorry, Thor, Angela. Got them mixed up. It is hard to counter that, because you can't really counter dive Gambit, Loki. You kind of just have to play triple support. You play Gambit, Rocket Raccoon, probably, and then maybe Sue or Luna. You need to play supports that can be spread out, so that way you don't get hit by the Moon Knight, but that can do constant healing and a lot of healing to counteract the Moon Knight and the Punisher, because your tanks are going to have to bust through the Thor and Angela, either by playing Thor and Angela or other Brawl or dive tanks, and like out-brawl them, just diff them, unlike Thor, because Thor's really good at messing up Angela, and Thing's pretty good at messing up Thor, so you can just like split off and take each other on Thing and Thor, but then you have to be able to out-heal their DPS, and then you need someone to go and dive them, but not really dive them, because they're playing Gambit Loki, so they don't really get dove. They get inconvenienced, and so inconvenience them long enough to get a pick, and then it's a slow uphill battle to get picks. See, and I think that's bad. Like, it enables it, but only for the winning team. The losing team is going to struggle, because even if you copy their comp, your Thor is going to get torn to shreds. Your 2 DPS have to be very consistent on which tank they shoot at him until they die, as many headshots as you can, and then swap to the other tank, no matter what happens. Because if you shift target priority all the time, neither of them are going to die. Like, if you mirror the comps, like, it's very hard to counter. It enables it for the winning team, but that's pretty much what I think. I don't think dive is dead. I don't think brawl is dead. I think poke enables it in a very unfun way. We need poke to be nerfed, and not in any huge way, just like the sustained poke damage. Because I think it's fine if they do big damage all at once, but it can't be big damage all the time. It has to be like in bursts if you're going to do that, and if it's going to be consistent damage, then it has to be lower. And I said at one time when I was looking at patch notes, I don't think that that the one-shot upgrade to Punisher, 1 extra damage per bullet's going to do much. I think it did a lot, actually, and I regret a lot of my choices and what I said. But that's about it for me today. I will see you guys tomorrow. Wet Willy.